Welcome to AudiOasis. Thank you for being here. The vibrational frequency of the people gathered here tonight is so nourishing to my soul. I can feel it. And it's always such a pleasure to have the coming together of the light beings, which I know all of us here are. And I might actually, while he's working on the tech, I know that I incarnated in this lifetime and many prior to this for the shift of consciousness on the planet, from fear to love. And it's been quite the journey and ride for all of us. And I was looking back on my journey today and amazed at how far my life has changed for the better. And I have so much tremendous faith in all of our lives changing for the better. Partly because of what I've learned about conscious creation in my own life, but also because of my understanding of the spiritual evolution of consciousness and humanity. And this is a little demo. Okay, right now, the structure, power structure on the planet is kind of like a pyramid or a triangle upright. There's these people, many of whom are actually hidden, but at the very top who are kind of pulling the strings and controlling things, right? And, they have kind of been trying to increase their control recently, as you may know, in many ways. And but what's been happening at the same time as them finding new ways to control what goes into our consciousness. At the same time, humanity has been learning how to see through it and learning how to come back to love, even though the programming has been for fear. So I am part of that. You're all part of that. And so the structure, the power structure right now is more kind of like this, but the power structure of the new earth that we're all creating is more of a level, more equality, more everyone honoring all life equally, and everyone having sovereignty over their own lives. And so what's been happening is that down below this hierarchy is all of us and all the light workers and all the people who are finding their way back to love. Wayne-Bo, did you turn the reverb off? It doesn't sound like it.
No, I did the best I could. I can come play with it a little bit more.
Oh, wow.
Sounds beautiful.
Okay, well.
I turned the reverb to 0. And I don't know why it still sounds like it's reverb.
So I don't know if it's going to work, but what I'm hoping is going to happen is that from the bottom, all this kind of darker power structure is going to melt and fall down into the beautiful, more level, equal, and just by being who we are. It's just going to dissolve into the love, the ocean of love that is each of us with all of our hearts connecting together all over the world. So yeah, that kind of worked. Yay. And then we have the flower instead.
Phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yes. Oops, okay, anyway, so congratulations everybody, it's working. It's happening, and I have tremendous faith. That's why the Vibe Tribe manifesto says that we intend to end hunger, poverty, war, and disease in our lifetime. I know that's kind of crazy, but I'm going to live a long time, and I know it's possible. I know how, and so I'm really honored to be able to share a little bit of my part of how I've done that for my own life and why I have so much faith. And I'm so grateful to Rainbow for being my tech support and
That's all I can do.
even though he can't get rid of reverb. But he's doing so much else. And I guess in 2006, early in 2006, I made this proclamation about being ready to step into greater service. And immediately my subconscious mind was like, oh no, I'm not ready for that. But I think at this point in time, I am, and I think we all are. And yeah, I'll come back to that 2006 thing, but so Rainbow is kindly videotaping this so that I can hone my message and maybe share it with more people in the future as well. So, and when you're ready, Rainbow, you could, oh no, I'll sing the song first. Okay, so this is the Vibe Tribe theme song. Those of you who know it, please sing along. Hi, Nancy. Stepping into clarity, walking in our power, dancing magic in our lives every minute of every hour, choosing to be using the gifts we've got to make this world so fine. We are each unique expressions of the great divine. You are stepping into clarity, walking in your power, dancing magic in your lives every minute of every hour, choosing to be using the gifts you've got to make this world so fine. You are one unique expression of the great divine. And now we claim it. I'm stepping into clarity, walking in my power, dancing magic in my life every minute of every hour, choosing to be using the gifts I've got to make this world so fine. I am one unique expression of the great divine. Woo! Yay. And I would like to send some love to Michael Wall when we sing that, because he actually wrote that song. And he's having a healing adventure. And I love him very much. And he lives in Kailua, so we can all just take a moment to breathe into our hearts. So appreciate Michael Wall for all the beautiful songs he's written and shared with the world, and all the community he's built over his lifetime with Fire Tribe in the past, and Kirtan, and love for Michael. And then we breathe into our hearts, and then we put it all together in the middle, and then we send that love over the mountain to Michael. Thank you so much. And do you want to do the thing?
Well, I get introduced to my queen, although I know you all know her. And I don't think I even need a mic because I'll just stand here right next to her and we'll reverb, even though it's turned off. So Ka'imi and Jonathan and Sarah got together in 2012 and started the High Vibe Tribe, which this is what we're doing here, High Vibe Tribe, and is an amazing and powerful manifester, which I think is pretty much what you're talking about today.
Yeah, something like that.
I've grown kind of fond of her over the years. She's pretty special in my life and in our lives. I make up and manages this amazing home and space and does so with grace and more compassion than I can possibly fathom, for which I'm truly grateful and oftentimes shamed.
Oh no.
I can't quite seem to pull that off. So she's going to share with us a lot of the story of how this came together and what's been going on in the meantime, and amazingness about consciously creating joy. Is that good?
Great.
All right. Thank you so much for being here and for the yummy food.
Yay, yes. I didn't ask him to do that, honest, that was his idea. Okay, yay. So, many of you have heard at least parts of the story before, and that's okay. Hopefully it'll be embellished a little bit tonight. So well, let's forget years, but many years ago, I was married, and I had an adorable 2-year-old son. Whoops. I don't think there's a 2-year-old on here, but this is my adorable son. You can pass that around. And I still have an adorable son. And, but I was not a happy camper. In spite of the fact that I had great joy with my son, in fact, I wrote a song about him, Boy Full of Joy, which I might want to share later. I had a chronic illness. I had been sick for years, and I was in a lot of pain and fatigue and brain fog, and I wasn't that happy in my marriage. My husband was a beautiful soul, but he kind of had an anger problem. He had a very judgmental dad, and once he felt really, really safe with me, then he started allowing that anger to come out into me and sort of project it outward, and he declined to go to counseling, which was, I had faith in counseling because I myself was a therapist at the time. I was running just once a week because I didn't have the energy to do more, but one evening a week I was running a therapy groups for an organization called Parents United. And for Child and Family Service, which is the largest social service agency on the island. And so I was kind of starting to feel hopeless about my life because I was so unhappy in the marriage and I was in so much pain, and I didn't think I could, leave the marriage because he was supporting me and my son, and I, really cherished my son, of course, and didn't feel capable of taking care of him without that support. And when my son was 1 year old, I read a book about how to alter your consciousness in legal ways, and one of the ways was shamanic journeying. And I learned that people often do that to get healing. So I thought, I need that, because I, of course, went to Western medicine. They had nothing for me at the time. But so I called up the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, and I said, are there any shamanic healers around here on this island? And they said, no. But there is someone who's teaching you how to do your own shamanic journeying. So I went to that workshop, and I learned shamanic journeying. And that's a whole fascinating story itself. But so I'd been journeying for about a year, and I had been getting, a lot of people when they journey, they see pictures or stories, images. But when I journeyed, I was getting words. I was getting lots of words, guidance in the form of speaking that I could hear. And so I'd been journeying for a year. At least once a month, I was actually hosting a journey circle at that time. We would meet at different people's houses for it, and I would send out the announcements and all. Anyway, I'd gotten such great guidance from journeying, and this particular day, I thought I had never thought of asking this global question before, but I was feeling particularly in need. And I thought of asking this, what can I do to stop feeling so scared about the future and hopeless and miserable? And I was expecting a long answer because it was a big problem that I've been working on for a while. And yeah, I was expecting a complex, multifaceted answer, but I got 2 words. The answer was 2 words. And I was shocked. Luckily, with the 2 words, I got the download of understanding how to put the 2 words into practice. But the question was, how can I stop feeling so scared and miserable and hopeless about the future? And the answer was, just stop. And the way that I believe it was my teacher in the upper world, the way they said to do that was to just, whenever you focus on anything that makes you feel that way, stop. Go focus on something that makes you feel uplifted. Anything. Doesn't have to be real. It can be in your imagination. And honestly, I was shocked by the answer. And I couldn't believe it could be true. I could not believe that something so simple would be the answer. And I literally didn't believe it. But because I had been getting good guidance for a year, I said, well, I've got to try it. I mean, I trust the source here. I'm going to try it. So I tried it. And if you told me then that I would have all this now, I wouldn't have believed it, because it's so far from what I felt capable of at the time. And yeah, I wouldn't have believed how much goodness has come into my life since that time. And it took time, of course. That was many years ago. My son's now 30. He was only 2 then. But it was a beautiful journey all the way along. And to this day, I'm still learning how to do it, because our culture doesn't teach this. Our culture teaches us something very different about how to get what you want in life. Do this, do that, work hard, do this, do that. Nothing good in my life has happened from me working hard. Everything good in my life has happened from love, from my heart, and from spirit, connection with spirit. Literally everything. And my life has not been linear. It's not logical. Neither will be this presentation tonight. I tried to make an outline, but I couldn't. It was impossible. So I'm just going to go with the flow here. And so I hope to give examples of how I followed my heart and wonderful things happened. And so I'll give one that came not that long after that shamanic journey that said the 2 words. I was listening to the radio, and there was an interview of a book author. And the book author was Barbara Sher. And the book was called Wishcraft. How to create what you want in life or something like that. Anyway. And I thought, oh, that would be a great gift to give to my nieces. They're both about to go like launch their lives. Like this would be so awesome for them to have, you know. So my love for my nieces, whom I love very much, prompted me to buy the book, buy 2 copies. But before I sent it to them, of course, I had to read it. That book, oh my gosh. That book gave me the courage to change my life. I'll give you an example. So Barbara Sher, she was like, okay, later I would teach a class called Your Heart's Desire, which was written by Sonia Choquette. She's a spiritual teacher. She's very intuitive, spiritual. Barbara Sher, no, not at all. She doesn't speak anything about spirit. But what she realized was that it's what we really need to create what we want in life is emotional support from other people, basically. She created groups to help, she created groups to teach this and just have people support each other to create what they want in life. And she had stories. So 2 stories that stuck out were, and so I'm reading this book and I'm thinking, like, there's no way that this guy can have what he wants. And then she tells how it happened. Like, the farmer, this was the one that, he's not a farmer, he's a truck driver in the city. He's a truck driver in the city, but he wants to be a farmer. He doesn't have money, he doesn't know anything about farming, but his dream is to have a farm. And she says to him, go drive around outside the city to where you would like to live on a farm, in the farmlands, and put up signs that you can repair trucks. You can repair farm equipment, because he could. He was a truck driver and he knew how to repair his truck. So he did that. And lo and behold, a farmer hired him to fix his truck. They got to be friends. The farmer was retiring and had no children who wanted the farm. The truck driver moved onto the farm with his beloved and learned farming from the elder and inherited the farm. That just like blew my mind open, like, oh, yeah, there are kind of like clever little interesting different ways of getting things beyond the way that people have taught us it has to be done. No money, and he got the farm. So the other one was, it just struck me as a fun one. So this guy lived in Chicago. He hated the cold, and he was like a chemical engineer or something like that. And he was really well paid, and so he didn't want to quit the job. But he really wanted a partner. He hadn't had a partner, and he wanted to live in a warmer climate. So he gets and these are people who are in groups where people are supporting each other, right, to get what they want in life. And he gets this mailer about his high school reunion. And he's older now, right? And he throws it in the trash. He thinks, I didn't like those people when I was in high school. Why would I want to see them now? But something told him to go and pick it up out of the trash. And Spirit told him, obviously. And he signed up, and he went on this high school reunion cruise, and he met a woman who had been in his chemistry class. They hit it off. She just happened to have a pharmacy in Florida. They fell in love. He married her, moved and helped her with her pharmacy in Florida. So all the fun, beautiful ways that we can manifest. So this gave me courage. And when I was feeling so miserable, I didn't see what the options and opportunities were. But as things progressed and I kept focusing on things that were uplifting, more things came into focus that were good. And I do want to mention, so one of the ways that I did focus on what was good was to imagine what I wanted to have in the future. And I also remember like, I planned my birthday party. And, and I was feeling like I didn't really want my husband to be there, so I planned it for all women. And that was like the best decision ever because, well, you know how women are kind of like really supportive, right? So my best friend at the time, she had a son the exact same age as me. We met in the Lecce League. She said, oh, it's Ka'imi's birthday. Let's all go around and say something we like about her or love about her. I'm like, wow, where did that come from? How wonderful is that? And I heard things that I had never heard before. I never knew anyone thought about me or saw about me. So that was really eye-opening and wonderful. So those are examples of things that gave me hope about the future. And I still didn't leave my husband, but what did it was so I worked 1 day a week doing therapy, and I had a colleague, a coworker, who also did therapy, ran therapy groups, and he and I started co-counseling. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's kind of like a peer support counseling thing. And the day before Valentine's Day, I swear, Cupid came into me. And all of a sudden, I looked at this guy differently and like, whoa. I like developed a crush on him. And it was kind of like, I kind of needed that push to like think, okay, I could have another partner in the future. And so that was the impetus that gave me the courage to leave my husband. And at that point, he was getting kind of worse, like he was throwing things and breaking things, and I was scared. So I didn't want to tell him. I planned it without telling him, but he was so intuitive, and so was my son. I didn't tell my son either. He felt it, and he said, I feel you, how did he say it, moving away from you or something like that. Like, anyway, and so I admitted it, yeah, I was going to, and he was, it actually kind of woke him up, and he really rallied and was willing to go to counseling and everything. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that one, but anyway, I did have the courage to leave, and the crush helped. Yeah, the crush helped. And I did, my son and I got a duplex, not a duplex, shared house in Waimanalo, my favorite place on the island. And my son remembers the baby chicks that he played with. And let's see, I think I want to fast forward here. I saw an article in the paper about a dance class. It's called MOVE, M-U-V-E, which stands for Move to the Music. It was Maggie Kunkel. And I went to it, and she and I became friends, and I eventually moved in with her. And she was a magnificent manifestor in a lot of ways. She had a house in Manoa. She owned her own home. But she made that money from selling lanai covers, gates, and fences from Japan. She imported. And but her real passion was dance, and she really wanted to like have her own dance show, and just anyway. But she would host dance classes all over, and let's see. So at one point, she decided to like go all in, and she made a website. She sold her house to have the money to create a website to support her dream. And the minute the house sold, she looked in the newspaper for another house, and she found this house. She came to look at it, made an appointment with the rental agent. When she arrived at the front of the house, she saw our neighbor who lived behind us that she'd known for many, many years. She said, "Pat, what are you doing here?" And Pat said, "I'm your rental agent." It just so happened that the rental agent for this house was Maggie's neighbor. And so we moved in here, and again, thanks to dance. One day I was posting flyers for Maggie for her dance class. She was filling in for somebody else who had been doing ecstatic dance. I don't think she called it that. Anyway, she was doing a dance program, and she had a pretty good following, and Maggie was filling in for her, and Maggie wanted me to help advertise it. And I went to UH and put up posters around it. And it just so happened that day was like new student orientation. Here's all the tables about the student groups that you can join while you're in college, right? So one of them was Aloha Movement Project, which was founded by Jonathan Berry. He was Jonathan Fritzler back then, but he's called Jonathan Berry now. And I looked at the flyer and I said, "This is really cool." I looked at the website. He had a website. And I thought, my son needs to connect with this guy, Jonathan, because my son had come home from college by then and said that he wanted to be a music festival producer. That's what was his dream. And Jonathan had been doing that. He'd been putting on concerts and having success with it in college. And I thought this would be a good mentor for him. So Jonathan would come over here and mentor Kanoa. And I stayed with them when it was happening, and we got to know each other. And 12/12/2012 was Jonathan's birthday. He turned 27 that day, and we had a birthday party for him here in the living room. And I already had it in mind before this, but from then on, like, for some reason at that point, he liked the idea that we do this every month. We have a gathering every month, and we have a different guest presenter every month. Or including Jonathan, because he was really good at that, and I wanted to give him a platform for it and support him to do it. And thanks to my love for Maggie, wanting to help her with her dance, thanks to my love for my son, wanting to help him in his career path, I met Jonathan, and then Jonathan brought the people to the monthly gatherings, and how many amazing blessings have come to me through this. And I know that what I really wanted to do was create community to support each other in following our hearts. And that's what we've done. And I've seen so many ripple effects from it, where people come together, they meet each other here, and they feel supported in what they're doing, or they go out and co-create something together outside of here, or they get launched into a new, they start presenting here, and then they get launched into their own career path and so on. So it's been so satisfying and fulfilling, and just miraculous and beautiful. Lots more stories about that, but so we had this once a month, and then the owners of the house decided to sell it. Well, actually, they predicted that they were going to retire, and they were going to sell this house when they retired. And Maggie, who was the leaseholder at the time, she decided she didn't want to wait until it was their timing for the new house. She wanted to move when she wanted to move, so she started looking for the new house right away. And she found a house with a pool and a hot tub. And with the intention of us all, we had housemates, us all moving together to that house. But then I realized, well, wait, I really like, this monthly AudiOasis. So I'm going to, instead of going with them, I'm going to take over the lease. And I don't know if I would have been able to take over the lease if I hadn't had Maggie ushering me into this, because my credit was pretty bad from being sick for so long. Oh yeah, I totally missed that part, didn't I? I'll go back to that. That's funny that I skipped over that. Anyway, so I did. I took over the lease, and then I could do anything I wanted here. Like, I could have groups every night, not just once a month. And so we did. We had a lot of cool stuff going on here, and we still do. Awesome. And then the owners really were ready to sell the house, and I tried to gather enough people to put the money together to buy the house ourselves, but couldn't pull that off. But I made a good effort. And then I decided, okay, if I can't buy it, I'm going to find somebody else to buy it and rent it to us. So I wrote up a prospectus, and I put, all the details and all, what our mission and purpose was for the Vibe Tribe, and testimonials and everything. And I shared it with all the people I knew who could afford to buy this house, which was $1.3 million at the time. And I didn't just do that, so just let's back up, because we did ceremony, we did ritual, we came together, we had like a whole fundraiser thing going on, and so many of us together came together with this dream. And it was a co-creation, but I felt so sure, because I knew how important and beautiful the mission was, that we would get the house, or this or better is what I would always say, this or better, so be it. So, and I felt very confident. And one day I was in the treehouse. I don't know if this was before or after I felt so confident, but anyway, I was thinking about it, and like, this doesn't happen to me all the time, but what happened was the gnomes. Now the gnomes take care of the ley lines, okay? The gnomes came into my consciousness and said, we will help you get the house. Pretty cool. That gave me more confidence. So, let's see. So the owners, they decided that we had to move out while they were selling the house. They wanted to paint it and stuff like that. So that was a miracle that Rainbow and many others helped with to get us all moved out. But it all went so beautifully, because I moved in with my son. Rainbow and I and another housemate moved in with my son. Sage moved in with her beloved Liam. Wendy went on the boat that she wanted to go back to. And we all found ways. And we kept having AudiOasis, even though we didn't have this space. We just went to other spaces. And let's see. Yeah, it was great living with my son. I got to hug him every day. I love him so much. I love being in his energy field. And time goes by, and none of the people I asked were going to buy it. I mean, I had 3 people in mind, actually. One I thought was going to, because he loved the Vibe Tribe, and he was wealthy. And, but he was overinvested already. He had just built a whole community in India. And his name was Divesh. And then another one, Kiana Luna's brother is a real estate agent. So he came to look at the house and see if he wanted to buy it as an investment. And when he came, it just so happened, he just came by, didn't make an appointment, it just so happened the seller's agent was here, and they talked. I thought, oh yeah, for sure, he's gonna get it, right? Divine orchestration, right? But no, he didn't either. But one of the first people I had asked, as time went on, I started looking, okay, I didn't do it much, because I was like, this or better, so be it, I know it's gonna happen. But I did feel inspired a couple times to look at rental listings, and I found one that was beside a stream, and it was beautiful. It was in the back of a valley, and so we all went to look at it, and we were thinking about renting. It was a rental, thinking about renting it, and let's see, how did this go now? Yeah, so meanwhile, it didn't quite have all the features that this house has. It had a lot of them, but not all of them. So I decided to resend my proposal to one of my friends, whose name is Sudesh. And the second time I sent it, he said, well, I asked my financial advisor if this was a good investment. He said, no, it wasn't. He said, if the price was lower and the rent that you're offering was higher, it would be a good investment, but it's not. But I'm going to do it anyway. Yes. And and before that happened, though, I called up the seller's. So the seller's agent happens to be the rental agent's daughter, Pat, our neighbor's daughter. So I call her up and I say, oh, I found a buyer. And she said, oh, sorry, it's already in escrow. And I was like, wait, I thought you were going to tell me. Like, we're family here, why didn't you tell me, But she didn't tell me, but it was an escrow. So I, hung up the phone, I cried for a little while, and then I said, no, this or better, so be it. It's going to happen. This or better, so be it. So out of the blue, a friend who had moved away a few years back called me up and said how things going, and I told her the story of what just happened. And she said, oh, wait, put in a backup offer. I didn't know anything about buying houses. I didn't know about what a backup offer was or anything, but I said, well, that's a great idea. So I called up Sudesh. I said, put in a backup offer. And so his buyer's agent did that. And then we found out that it had, oh no, that's what it was. It had, when they put up the backup offer, it had already fallen out of escrow, and the woman hadn't told me yet. It had fallen out of escrow because there were some foundational things they found that needed repair. So Sudesh's buyer's agent said, fix those things and we'll buy it. And they did. They fixed them all. And then that kitchen table over there, the buyer's agent, me, and Sudesh sat down. Sudesh got out his checkbook, $1.3 million, handed it to her. And it was so cool. When they gave me the keys to the house, they always give it to the owner, but they didn't give it to the owner, they gave it to me. And they always give a bouquet of flowers when they give the keys to the owner of the new house. They gave me a bouquet of flowers and the keys. And when we had the blessing ceremony, Sudesh came. And at the end, I walked him to his car. And he said to me, I didn't get you this house, he did. So he knew he was being a conduit of spirit. And he's an awesome individual. He owns 10 electronics manufacturing plants. And he did that because he actually uses his wealth to build vocational training schools for street children in India and Pakistan, because that's where he was born and grew up. And he lived in a 10 by 10 room with his whole family at the time when Pakistan and India separated. And he wanted to give back because he's been so successful and so inspired. So anyway, he's awesome. I love him. We all send him love right now and thanks and gratitude for this house. So I want to also tell my story about Rainbow. So I've known Rainbow over the years. We both came here within a couple of years of each other, like 37 years ago. And we were acquaintances, like very occasionally, rarely, but saw each other at different things. And after I took over the lease of the house, Sage went to him for IT consulting and traded acupuncture. He came for the acupuncture. After the acupuncture, he came out to right over here, the kitchen, and I gave him a hug like I normally do to greet people. And he said, "Oh, how's it going with the new situation?" I said, "Oh, it's going so great. We're having these great groups here. We had the spiritual business circle. We had the empath circle. Oh, and a couple nights we're having a cuddle party or a cuddle event or something like that. Workshop, a cuddle workshop. That's what it was, a cuddle workshop. That was Leland, or Papaya on Facebook now. She was hosting a cuddle workshop. And then I said, oh, but it's a partner cuddling workshop. I remembered it was just for partners, And the next thing that happened, I did not do it. It was not me. I did not speak, but words came out of my mouth. I said, oh, I could be your partner. So he said yes. And I was trying to justify it in my mind, like, well, I guess I should go to that and make sure it's really well done and kosher and everything good. Like, okay, I should go to it. Like, I was like aghast at what came out of my mouth because I did not speak it. But what happened was that it wasn't, so the cuddle workshop was you start kind of far apart, and then as the night goes on, you get closer together, cuddling, and these different positions from the Cuddle Sutra. Really cool, a book. But it's not just that. So there were eight positions of cuddling, and with each one, you would answer a question, and they got more superficial at the beginning and deeper as the night went on. Well, I was not looking for a partner. He was not looking for a partner. But as we answered those questions together, oh my gosh, we had so much in common. It was shocking. And we were laughing so hard. Like, we were both totally relaxed because we weren't looking for a partner. We were not trying to make a good impression. We were being totally authentic, our true selves. And we laughed so hard, and we had so much fun. And halfway through, there was a break, and he went off, and I stayed where I was, and the couple next to us, D-Mac was there. I said, you two look like, you've known each other a long time, but he and I, we kind of only are just getting to know each other right now. And I said, but it's amazing. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if this turned out to be our first date? I literally said, wouldn't it be funny if this turned out to be our first date, to D-Mac? So Rainbow comes back from the break, and D-Mac says, did you know that you're on your first date? I was not expecting that either. And Rainbow, cool as a cucumber, said yes. And we've been cuddling and laughing ever since. Ever since. 6 years ago, 5/25. Yeah. So just so you know, when I left my husband, which I had been married for 14 years or something, I was expecting to have another partner pretty soon. I told you about that crush I had, right? But no, that crush, he went back to where he came from. He had come here to get a master's degree in social work. And then when he finished that, he left. And I was so sad. But, and even before he left, he said, no, I don't want to fall in love with you. If I spend more time with you, I'll fall in love with you, and I don't want to do that. So he wouldn't even spend time with me. But, yeah, so actually for 16 years, I did not have a partner. But every time I thought, I wish I had a partner, I thought, well, what is it that you think you would get if you had a partner right now? And I would say, oh yeah, it's this that I really want. And I would figure out a way to get it myself. And, fulfill my own needs. I had lovers almost the entire time. I just didn't have a life partner. Yeah. And 7 years 5 years. I mean, you know, long term and short, a little bit short terms too. What was I going to say about that? I forgot. Oh, I know. Basically, that I did not focus on getting a life partner. I focused on my life and my fulfillment and doing what I loved and what my dreams were. And it was a great journey. I mean, I think I needed that time really to be with myself and really get to know myself better and what I wanted and who I was and what I needed and wanted and all that. So, and the lovers were helpful. They were, one of them in particular really helped me ground into the earth. Before that, I was not grounded because I had quite adverse childhood experiences that were actually the cause of my illness and so on. Somebody tell me what time it is. I need to measure my time here.
10 after 8.
10 after 8, okay. Yeah, so literally focusing on what uplifted me moment to moment. And of course, I've been a therapist for all this time. I also did my 2 hours of clearing work every week. So I would face my fears and have a loving listener and supporter with me to do that and do clearing work. And I developed a clearing method that involves communicating with the subconscious. And that was a huge help because I was able to get at the root of a lot of my fears. And when I first started doing it, it was this lifetime, but then as in more recent years, it was going back to past lives. And one in particular was just made such a huge difference. But yeah, clearing work, I'm all for clearing work. We need to do our clearing work too. But all the rest of the time, focusing on what's uplifting, whatever it is. And I definitely have to stop for a song here. So after we got the house, I was so happy and joyful that we pulled it off that I had to write a song about it. Oh, I should say, the first time I ever started writing songs was when I had that big crush. His name was Don, D-O-N. And that's when I started writing songs because all this emotion was coming out of me, right? And, but anyway, I had a lot of emotion about the celebration of having the house. And I started to write the song, and I realized that I had manifested another house before this one, and in a beautiful way. And so I'm going to tell you that before I sing the song about this house. So I told you that I had been sick, and I didn't first move in with Maggie. I first moved in with Koakea, and then she fell in love, and we had to move out because he had to move in, which was all awesome. And I manifested another house. But that was the story I mentioned about in 2006, I guess, where I proclaimed that I was ready for greater service. And then I got even sicker than I had been, much sicker. Oh gosh, I forgot to tell you the part about how I had the courage to leave my husband. Okay, what I figured out was I would get half of his retirement income. We'd been married long enough, and he had a stack of it. And I realized I could get it right away. I could liquidate the retirement money and live on that. So I did that, and the liberation from fear and the focusing on the positive, my health improved greatly. I mean, when I left him, I became healthier. And my one night a week job became a half-time job with ease and grace. It turned into a half-time job. And so that's how I was supporting myself between the retirement money and that job. And I was writing songs. And let's see, but I was getting, so after I made that proclamation, I got sicker because I think, as I said, my subconscious mind was like not ready for that. I was too much scared to go out and be visible about my truth and speak my, I don't know what, share my messages, I don't know. Anyway, I was so sick that I was glued to the bed, and I had to hire my neighbor to bring me food. I had a cooler in the corner of my bed where I would put the food so I didn't have to go to the kitchen. And my husband had gotten half-time custody, so 4 nights a week my son would be with me and 3 nights with his dad, and my son would help me. He was 8 or 9 by then. So he learned, he became the one who made dinner. But anyway, this particular year I was so sick, and I didn't even have a laptop. I only had a desktop in the living room, and I was too tired to get to it, so I just had my phone, that was it. And my books I would read because I was so tired, I couldn't do much. And but I finally dawned on me that I should get a channeled reading and find out what was going on with my health and what I could do to help it. And I did that, and that was in November, and I got 2 instructions. One was to move from where I was living. Turns out that there was probably mold there that was causing me to get so much sicker too. And I was told, move where you can be in nature every day. And eat a lot of greens, like basically go raw and eat lots of greens, lots of salad. So before that I had thought, I don't know how to go raw. I don't know, I didn't know how to do it. But when it was greens, like salad, okay, I know how to make a salad. So that became my food, salad every day, and spirulina and chlorella, but salad basically was my food. So I went raw as of November. I was still sick at that time, of course, and didn't have much energy. And so all I did was I wrote a song about the new home that I wanted. And this was the song. I live among the trees, lush green surrounding me, in deep serenity. In my home among the trees, I watch the dancing of the leaves. I feel the soft, caressing breeze. Sounds of nature soothe my soul. Here I feel complete and whole, full strength for every goal. Light and life here nourish me with vibrant energy. Each day replenish me. In gratitude I sing my prayer for dear Earth's loving care and peace for all to share. And sure enough, and I didn't do anything else, literally, because I was like in survival mode. And but I did sing the song to my friends on the phone, and one of them, she had actually been living with my son and I before this, before I got this reading. And I had taken her in, she needed refuge actually. She was also had a chronic illness, so I identified with that. And she slept on our couch. We had a 2-bedroom. My son had one, I had one, she had the couch. And, but her dad had come to visit and realized that she was sleeping on my couch, and he decided to get her a place on the Big Island. So she had gotten a place on the Big Island, but it was too much for her. Like she was still on the Big Island when I sang my song, and she said, I'm going to come over and visit you and help you find your new home. So she did. She came over, she cleaned the house, she made food for me. I also forgot the other thing. I was also doing weddings had a wedding service. Maggie had been the one who helped me set that up. And that's all I was doing at this point. I had already quit the job, the other job, and I was just doing weddings. And I would just kind of drag myself out of bed and go to the wedding and then come back to bed. And anyway, she took me to my wedding, and she just took great care of me. And she said, well, I found a place. I don't know if it has trees, because I asked the guy, and he said, what do you mean trees? There's trees everywhere in Hawaii. But let's go look at it anyway. So after the wedding, she took me there, and it was in the back of this valley, Ibrule Place. And we drive up, and sequoia, those are trees. The house was right across the street from a stream, trees, mountain with more trees. Complete nature across the street, gorgeous. And I said, oh, wouldn't it be funny if the first house we looked at was the house we got? We didn't care about the house. We went down to the stream to look at the stream. And it wasn't the first house. It was the only house. And I had filed for bankruptcy that year because I had been so sick and couldn't keep up with the bills. And this house wasn't rented by mom and pop who liked me and said, I'll give it to you anyway. No, it was a rental agency. And they looked at my credit, and they still gave me the house. Because I was singing that song, and I had faith. And it was interesting that the last line of the song was peace for all to share, because, as I mentioned, my friend, her name is Sequoia, she was finding it overwhelming to have this place on her own over on the Big Island, so she then later moved back and lived with us again and slept on our couch again. My son had the master bedroom of the house. It was a duplex. And I had the other bedroom, and she had the couch. And it worked great. She was my personal assistant. She did all the food preparation, she did the laundry, she did the dishes. And I had 5 weddings a week this time. As I got better, I was able to do that. And I want to mention one thing about that. So 2006, I guess that was. 5 weddings a week. I don't know if any of you remember March 2006, but there was 40 days and 40 nights of rain here in Hawaii. And I had 5 weddings a week that month and no rain on my weddings. I always ask the weather spirits to bless the couple, and okay, if there's a little blessing, sprinkle rain, fine if there's a rainbow, but nobody gets wet. And that month, there was rain before the ceremony and after the ceremony, not during the ceremony. There was thunder and lightning during one of the ceremonies, but not rain. It was pretty awesome. And I always thank the weather spirits. They were so good to me and us. Okay, so back to manifesting this house. So I wrote a song about it, and then I realized that I had manifested another house before it, so that house is in this song as well as the current one. So I really wanted to celebrate how I had manifested the house, kind of put that into the song in a way. So this is what I wrote. I shouldn't say wrote because I never read it. I just started singing. Okay, how does it start, folks? I'm creating my life with joy. Don't you know that's how I do it? Joy by joy. I know I stole the melody. I didn't write this melody, sorry. But that song kept coming to me. I said, that's such a great melody. I should write a song to it. Then I thought, oh, yeah, this is the song. Okay. I'm creating my life with joy. Don't you know that's how I do it? Joy by joy. Each moment I focus on what brings me joy, attracting more joy my way. Law of attraction, don't you know that's where the action is for me? I trust it, I've proved it, I've made magic happen. Miracles have come to me. It's hard to believe how easy it has been to make my dreams come true, but it's true. Focus and have faith, relax and be happy. That's how miracles have come to me. Singing one song I created, just the home I wanted, don't you know? Just one song, singing and singing, I did nothing else. My friend brought my home to me. And where I live now has everything I'd ever wanted and much more. Don't you know? Magic and miracles, $1.3 million. Love brought my home to me. Loving each day, loving every being I am blessed to share my world with. Don't you know? Dreaming, rejoicing, don't forget, relaxing. That's how love brought my home to me. Dreaming, rejoicing, don't forget, relaxing. That's how love brought our home to us. And I always like to, oh, so much love. I always like to mention the rejoicing part of that song, because before we got the house, but after Sudesh said he would buy it for us, I said, we need to celebrate this, that he's going to buy the house for us. And my beloved said, you mean before it happens, we should celebrate? I'm like, yes, that's how we get it. And so we did. We recorded videos of us dancing to the song Happy by, what's his name?
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I did. Something like that.
Happy, happy, happy. We celebrated before it actually happened, yes. Okay. What time is it? Anyone? Help me out? 8:30. So there's two things that I want to do. I mean, I have plenty more I can say, but there's two things I want to do besides me standing up here talking. And one is that I want to do what's called dolphin pods, where we get into small groups and we talk with each other. And one of the things that we would maybe want to talk about in the dolphin pods is each of you have your own creation stories. And I would like you to share about them. What you've created with magic and miracles and spirit and relatively effortlessly. But even if it was effortful, you still created it awesome. And celebrating everything good in our life is part of the whole manifestation magic that I believe in and have practiced and has worked for me so wonderfully. So I would like to do that. And then the other thing I'd like to do is questions and answers. So maybe, I don't know, which should we do first? What do you think? I guess questions first, just in case, or comments or anything. Just want to give space for it. You don't have to.
What did you do? Oh,
Go ahead.
what did you do when those doubtful thoughts came in? Those things.
Yeah, okay, one of my methods, it's called pattern interrupt, where I just try to stop it by doing a pattern interrupt and pull the focus away to something else. I guess I'll mention one of the ones that I've used, especially for, like, I still suffer from negative judgment of myself. I call it FONJ, fear of negative judgment, F-O-N-J, FONJ. And I wouldn't fear it from anyone else if I didn't have it within me still yet. I mean, it's much less than it used to be, let me tell you, but, but it's still there. So when I notice that I'm doing negative judgment of myself, I will pretend that I have a white rose of forgiveness that's very fragrant, and I'll just inhale the fragrance of it to, do the breath and keep me away from that and change the channel to something else. And I have a morning prayer, which I will recite and then I'll refer to, I guess. I greet this day with joy, and my joy grows daily. Divine joy expands in me and expresses itself through me and reaches out in every direction of my life. People and conditions respond to the joy I feel. Divine order, harmony, and beauty prevail in an ever-pleasant and constructive atmosphere. Today I am happy. I let love and joy fill my heart and mind and easily release, reframe, or replace any unloving thoughts about myself, anyone, or anything. The goddess in me rejoices continually as I express her spirit of joy in words of praise, and in loving, happy acts. I'm helpful in all that I do. I give thanks that I experience and express the joyous spirit, as this strengthens me to live life vigorously, making all my dreams come true. Like all of you are my dreams come true. So I release, reframe, and replace. And releasing refers to the clearing work that I do, which can be tapping on the meridians, even though, microphone, even though I feel X, Y, Z, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Tap, 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 all around. And that really helps. And, but changing the channel in my mind, sometimes I'll go to Pinterest on my phone because Pinterest gives you beautiful pictures. It's very stimulating, gets me off of any thought patterns that I need to get away from. And I start collecting pictures that I like. And I have a false sense of productivity by doing that. But it works. It's uplifting. There was something else though. What was it? Self-doubt. Yeah. I have a new song that I wrote recently, thanks to Seth, actually. It was an invocation that I used to use a lot, and then I changed it into an affirmation. And and I use that song a lot to shift also. So when I'm having doubts or whatever, instead of focusing on what is giving me doubt, I focus on the opposite. Or I could sing this song, which I share with you all. It's kind of a global manifestation song. You and I receive and relax in and rejoice in and radiate the greatest love, the greatest light, the greatest laughter and guidance for the greatest good, gracefully. You and I receive and relax in and rejoice in and radiate the greatest love, the greatest light, the greatest laughter and guidance for the greatest good. And that's my way of calling in spirit also, of course. and it's been working well. I definitely have doubts, I definitely have fears, and I'll just take my attention away, sing that song, and then I'm better able to keep my focus on something else. Do you need something? No? Okay. So yeah, singing is great for that. Noelani knows. Anybody else? Sandra, you had a question or a comment?
I don't know what our timeline is, but I would like to suggest that each of us go around and share something about what you mean to us. Share what you mean to us.
Oh, no.
Either,
No.
Yes. I don't know, if no one else agrees, that's fine, but
I agree.
second,
Nice stuff.
You could do like a few sentences.
Okay, well.
5-minute limit per person.
what is the tagline? Because I know you mentioned pods as well, but if each of us in a pod was going to share, we're breaking up the
I remember one time when somebody at the table said, let's just do that for each other. And Wayne was like, no. Not on demand, can't do that. So I want to respect everybody's privacy and you don't have to do this at all. And maybe like, I don't know. I honor your gift and I want to say yes, but like tiny bit short, that's all. Like we'll give it a short amount of time.
I just want to share how much you mean to me as a woman of wisdom in my life.
Come over here.
I want to share how much you mean to me personally as a woman of wisdom in your leadership and your openness to create these spaces and places that make people feel safe, allow them to be heard and allow them to be seen. Because Sandra from a year or two ago would never be doing this. And I'm just so grateful that you've allowed me to blossom.
Oh,
So I love
thank you so much. Okay, that's enough. That's good.
I think each of us should have
But
a fair share.
no, that's good.
Okay, then I say.
Oh.
You are such a good example for me to be helpful in a loving way. I am often helpful because I think I should, because it's not really my emotions so much, but my brain, oh, I should be a good human being, I should help such and such a person. But I don't really do it. I often grumble about it. I don't really want to do it. I feel I should, I ought to. But you always seem to be so willing to give your love. And just tonight I was thinking, okay, I'll give more time to so and so, and I will do it more gladly. So for me, you are just really a good example of altruism, among other things, but that is one thing I wanted to share.
I don't think anybody should do what they think they should do, honestly, just from the heart, from the inspiration. I really do. You're free. Yeah, but thank you.
You are Ka'imi. You are such a beautiful, inspirational being that just stems, flourishes, and such an abundance of love and makes all of these things happen and feel welcomed in your arms and in your house at all times. And I'm a much better person because of you, and you're so caring and loving. So thank you for being you and all you do.
Thank you, Angela.
Are we doing popcorn?
We're done. We're done.
You already asked me.
Then I would like to go. Do you need me to speak into the microphone? Closer, so I can give you a hug too.
Oh my.
Thank you so much. You do so much for everyone, and you do it so much, so gracefully. Well, the echo is kind of throws you off, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you do such ease and grace and beauty, and you have the strong goddess energy that you share with everyone, and everyone loves you, and you love them, and I see you help out of such great deep kindness inside of you, and I get to benefit a lot from that, and Lila benefits, and so does everyone from being around your presence. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, it'd be hard to edit that out.
You want to use that
Maybe
for
we'll
sound
leave it
deal?
in. Yeah.
Thank you, Wells. Ah,
I feel, that everyone knows you. And almost this is like a center point of finding a conscious community, and then it has little extensions. So, this is kind of like a center point, a base point, or I don't even know what to call it, but where you can, find the conscious community, and it's so helpful. Like we were saying yesterday at You Dance It, that you have a lot of Kapuna energy. You have a lot of wisdom.
I didn't say that, somebody else said that.
And joy, and it's very inspirational. I'm like making up songs of like things. It's the singing around is reminds me of like Disney World or Disney movies, very fairy tale-ish vibe. And I really appreciate your essence and your grace and what you're doing for the community.
Mahalo, Veronique. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm coming up.
Oh.
In the amphitheater echo chamber.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
It's like a spaceship. Oh my gosh, I am so incredibly inspired by your selflessness and your insistence on seeing only love and really having a steadfastness of seeing the best in people, seeing the best in circumstances, knowing that there's always possibility, and that you get to sprinkle the perception of your heart's desire onto anything and everybody, and that does make enormous ripple effects into everyone around you and who is blessed enough to share space with you. So thank you for that example and that anchor into what is so crucial for the evolution of our species, to heal the separation and create the actual oneness that is the ultimate truth of all that is. So thank you for the reminders that are so helpful and nourishing to me.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you. Amplified love.
Okay, well. Well, that was awesome. Thanks, guys. You're sweet.
Ka'imi,
Oh, no. There's more.
thank you for welcoming me in this home so effortlessly. Being here was like something that, it just manifested, I guess. It just like happened
Yes, you did.
so easily. And you're just such a light to be around, always having like so much energy, even though you may say you're overwhelmed. You just seem like so like you're just flying, like floating on air all the time. It's so inspiring. You're just so light all the time. I just really appreciate that, and I'm really gonna miss you a lot when I go on my next adventure. And I'm just really grateful that this is like my last place that I'm living in Hawaii this last week, especially. Just super grateful for you and your energy, and seeing the best in everyone. It's amazing. So thank you.
Mahalo.
Ka'imi,
Time-
thank you for sharing your heart and your joy and your light and welcoming everybody into your home with such grace and beauty. I just appreciate you from the bottom of my heart so much. I'm not super articulate, but I don't feel right now. I'm a little emotional. But you're very inspiring, and just your presence is so beautiful and joyful and fills my heart and warms my heart every time I'm near you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kara. That was beautiful. Time check. What time is it?
8:43.
8:43.
We have enough time for at least one more gratitude for cutting it off.
Yeah.
So,
Is it yours?
yes, I'm taking it.
Come over here, my love. Oh.
Come right over
The
there.
reverb.
I'm going to be over here though. Wait, no. Stay. You're hot.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
ways than one. Yeah, snuggle party. That was a very odd beginning to a relationship that I wasn't expecting. She didn't tell you the part of the story where I said snuggle party or
Cuddle workshop.
I could use some cuddling because I had been in my cave for a year just trying to get to know myself for the first time in my life outside of relationship. So, Vibe Tribe is something I had kind of slid into a little bit and offered a little bit of assistance so long story short, cuddle workshop. And I went, oh, I could stand a cuddle. And she went, oh, well, it's for couples. And I went, I remember my face just falling because it was like, I'm not doing that. So I went, oh, okay, well, never mind then. And that's when she popped up with, I could be your cuddle partner. And I almost lost it. Because it's like, no, not ready. Well, it's a workshop. There's going to be a lot of people here. Okay. Almost didn't do it. That was on a Monday night. The cuddle workshop was on Wednesday night. And I almost bagged out. And I'm so glad I didn't, because honestly, on top of all of the cuddle, which was groovy, energetically just awesome cuddling with this woman, and the laughter of the sharing of the questions and how they unfolded for us, but there was also this deep intertwining of both of our values about community and support and just being of service. And to find that in somebody who, when I wasn't looking for any kind of partner, was fascinating. And it's grown into so much more. You've just really, on top of accepting all of my warts and self-criticism and unkind words and dark places in my heart, and just continually beaming love at me, which has been incredibly good at helping me to accept who I am, even with the warts, and love myself more often than before.
Me too.
And your focus on keeping joy going has transformed my life. Mm-hmm. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for the last 6 years with you, and I'm really, really grateful.
Wow, thanks.
And you've done an awesome job tonight.
Thank you.